inside 30 seconds. The Eagles have no timeouts. Wait a minute. Here's a free foot. I don't believe it. The Eagles pick it up, and Herman Edwards runs it in for a touchdown.
Motion man is Andrew Hawkins, who's back in there after missing a couple of games. That ball bounces around, and it's intercepted.
Yeah, that's a fumble right there, not an interception.
Montana quickly to Jerry Rice, and he's got some speed. He drops the ball. Rice chases it, doesn't come up with it, goes into the end zone. The scramble continues, and the Giants come up.
Pocket collapses again on Stafford, and he is going to pitch it. And the ball is on the ground. Minnesota scoops it up, and on his way into the end zone is Daniil Hunter. That is a touchdown.
Aguilar loses it. Scramble on the fumble.
Hello and welcome to today's webinar, where we're going to be looking at how you can stop fumbles in your production area. Let's go ahead and get started. That's right, with our automated screw fastening process that we'll be taking a look at today. Welcome. My name is David Cash. I'm a member of the marketing team here at Mountz. I'm glad you've taken the time to join us today, and I hope you find the information useful that we'll be giving you today. And obviously, we want to stop any type of fumbles that may happen in the production area as it relates to fasteners and screws that are being used. And typically, we may see this in the use with power tools, whether it be an air tool or an electric style tool, as the fastener and the tool itself may be a little bit cumbersome to deal with and get the fastener onto the bit and into the part. And oftentimes customers will go ahead and they are looking to move to an electric tool or a power tool because they may want to increase the production for their assembly. We could also take a look at being able to improve the process control within the assembly. Also looking at ways that we can automate the fastening process and maybe transitioning from a manual tool to a power tool. And this may be because of a high fastener count on an assembly, and you may want to try to prevent any type of carpal tunnel or other injuries for the operator, as they may be using a manual tool and transitioning into a power tool. And oftentimes with electric tools, there are a number of different production aids that we can use to help the process go smoothly, so we're not adding any additional fumbles to the production area. And one of those items that certainly do help is going to be the use of torque arms for our power tools. In this case, we're looking at an articulating arm. This arm allows the tool to remain perpendicular to the work surface, so we can keep the tool moving up and down in the right orientation to help with the fastening process. There are a number of different styles of torque arms as it relates to either a linear type of arm or even a telescoping type of arm that gives the tool free range of motion. Typically when you see a telescoping torque arm, or maybe if a tool is not being used with an arm, it is being used in conjunction with a balancer. And there are basically two types of balancers that we typically see with the tool being suspended above the work surface. There is a spring tension type of balancer, and then a zero gravity type of balancer. And the spring tension allows the operator to pull the tool down, use it, and then the tool will want to retract back up out of the way for the operator to go ahead and continue their operation. The zero gravity balancer works a little bit different in the fact that there is no tension placed on the tool itself, but it allows the operator to move the tool up and down the stroke availability, and the tool will simply stay at that location until it's moved. And so the zero gravity balancer has no tension on it, but it does allow for the free movement of the tool, but there is no additional tension that may be created by a spring tensioner balancer that you may see with that type of production aid. Other things we might see in there are going to be screw feeders, or sometimes referred to as a blow feed system. And these act in a way where a big vibratory bowl is filled with fasteners, and as that bowl vibrates, fasteners will make their way up the wall of that bowl and eventually get into an orientation where the fastener is shot via air right to the end of the tool. These types of systems are a little bit pricier than the option that we'll be looking at today, but there is a little bit of difference between the screw feeding type of system as opposed to what we'll be looking at today is going to be the screw presenter that does allow us to be able to grab the screw in a certain spot every time and allow us to then go ahead and pick that screw up and use it in the assembly process. And so that's going to bring us to our poll question for today. In your assembly or how you store your screws at your workstation, is it done in a plastic bin? Do you use a shaker tray? Do you just keep them in a bag or cardboard box? Or do you have a screw dispensing system that you're using? So let's go ahead and give you a minute or so to go ahead and take part in the survey. And then we'll go ahead and continue on with the presentation here in just a second. All right. Thank you very much for participating in our poll question for today. Plastic bin was the winner by a majority, followed by the plastic bag and cardboard box. And then we did have a couple that do have screw dispensing systems. And so as we look at the screw presenter, there are a couple different options that are available. There are screw presenters that are used for automation type of purposes, and those basically allow the fastener to sit in a turntable, and as that fastener gets pulled, the turntable will rotate and a new fastener will go in where one was pulled. You can see this typically in the automation style of assembly, where we do have a robot that is hooked up with a driver and a vacuum pickup type of system, and it will go to the screw feeder that it is being paired with, and it will go ahead and grab that fastener from the feeder using a vacuum pickup. And so what the vacuum pickup is a little device that goes on the end of the tool that is surrounded by, or that has the bit surrounded by a vacuum tube. And then when the vacuum is applied over the fastener, it just simply sucks up right to the tip of the tool and then is being held until that fastener is run down. You will see vacuum pickup styles of use with screw presenters with hand tool, or excuse me, with hand manual, with electric hand tools that are being used this way. And this is primarily due because the fastener itself can't be used with a magnetic type of system, so it could be a stainless steel type of fastener. We'll use a vacuum pickup, and an automation type of screw presenter to be able to grab that fastener. The other type of fastener is going to be the type where we go ahead and we magnetize the bit, and then we bring that tool into a bit guide and go ahead and grab that fastener magnetically. And that could be done again with a magnetized bit, or we could use a magnet collar around the bit to help be able to grab that fastener. And so the reason why screw presenters are such a good way for us to be able to dispense fasteners, it's a very compact, very small footprint, and it does give us that ability to be able to dispense the screws very quickly and easily. It helps to eliminate any type of bin or shaker tray on the workbench. And it will allow us to do kind of an automated fastening process there, but it really does give us the ability to speed up the actual run time of that fastening process. And in most cases, you'll see an improvement of about 50% in the cycle time as it relates to using a screw presenter versus doing the fastening by hand or with a shaker tray, or where the operator needs to pick up the fastener and put that at the end of the tool and run that. So that's a very good savings that can be used with the screw presenter. And obviously it helps to prevent any type of fumble with those fasteners being spilled on the bench or onto the work surface or the floor. Again, we want to stop the fumbles with the use of the screw presenters. So what are the things that you need to keep in mind when you're looking at a screw presenter? We do have a guide available on our site. If you are looking to get or want to see if a fastener can work with a screw presenter, there are many types of head designs that work with the screw presenter. So this is a feature that needs to be seen, or we need to understand which fastener type is being used for that. Then the things that you also need to consider are going to be the head diameter. Next would be the head height, and then also the screw length that we would be dealing with, and then finally the shaft diameter. Now there is one concern that the fastener itself must have a shaft, a screw length that is longer than the head is wider, and that is so that when the fastener itself is being processed through the feeder, it can orientate correctly and have that extra length to be able to fall into the rail system. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. But again, if you do want to take a look at possibly speccing out which presenter may be correct for your type of fastener, we do have a worksheet that is available on our site, on our website, where you can fill that out. And if you truly are interested, you can also send some fasteners to us, a lot of about 50 or so, and then we can process those through the presenter that you are considering, and that will give you the assurance that that fastener is going to work correctly with that screw presenter. Now, how do the screw presenters work? And so basically we fill a hopper, and then that hopper will go ahead and rotate and grab screws and pull them up, and then slide them onto the rail system here, and that rail, as it vibrates, is pushing the fasteners out towards the end near the bit guide rail, and then there's a sensor there that once the fasteners will meet that, they simply stop vibrating, and then the system will stop turning the hopper as well as the brush to help remove fasteners that have not been orientated into the rail correctly. And so for one style or one model of presenter, there are a lot of adjustments that can be made to accommodate different fastener sizes within one model. And so that rail is adjustable to a certain width, and we can go ahead and make those adjustments for different sizes of screws that may be used in different assemblies but would require the same model for that particular set of screws. So one screw would, or one type of screw is being used at one time, but one model can have the ability to be able to adjust to several different types of fasteners. And so at this point, once the presenter has stopped, it will then allow us to go ahead and grab the fastener from the bit guide. So we just simply will reach down and grab that fastener, and we can then go ahead and use it in our assembly process. And so that will kind of bring us to the demo that we can show you. And it is basically a very simple explanation of what we're seeing with the screw presenter. So if I go ahead and turn this on, the presenter will go ahead and push the fastener out to the sensor, and then once the sensor is stopped, to grab the tool and go ahead and grab our fastener and run that down, and then grab our next fastener. And every time that we do that, the fastener then is being pushed by the vibration within the rail out towards the sensor, and then it will stop. And so this gives us again a very quick and easy way of being able to add fasteners to our assembly very quickly and without a lot of necessary movement or allowing us to drop fasteners and things like that. And again, this can be used with stainless steel fasteners, with the automated version of the screw presenter, with a vacuum style pickup. With this, you can see that we have this portion of our rail is adjusted to our screw that we're using. We also have the ability to adjust the height of the bit guide here to make sure that our fasteners are coming through. We also have the ability to adjust on the side here. We have the ability to adjust our speed of how the fasteners come out, the amount of vibration that happens with that, and then also our roller adjustment, which is used for the brush mechanism that is moving fasteners away from the rail that did not fall into the rail correctly. And so that hopper will just spin until we get the signal from the sensor up here that the fastener is present, and then it will continue to give us those fasteners as needed for our assembly process. And so with that is going to kind of bring us to this short presentation. But oftentimes this is something that is not seen, and it helps to see it, to better understand it. So with that, let's go ahead and move to any questions that we might have. So if you have any questions, feel free to send those into the chat. And so, Chris, do we have any questions?
Morning, Dave. Great presentation. Visual was very helpful. The first question we have is, can a vacuum type handle non-magnetic screws?
Yes, so that with the use of stainless steel or non-magnetic fasteners, we would be able to do that with a power tool. We just need to fit that tool with a vacuum pickup, and again, that is something that would be designed for a specific type of fastener in conjunction with a specific type of tool. And so as long as you're using that same model of tool with that same fastener, you can use it in with multiple different setups. But yes, so a vacuum pickup system would be used in place of a magnetic type of pickup.
All right, thanks, Dave. Next question is, does the screw presenter require any type of special size bit?
It only requires the bit that would be needed to pick up the fastener. The bit guide itself can be the channel for that does have an adjustment on it as well to be able to adjust to different sizes of bits for that. So that is an additional adjustment that is available.
All right. Next question is, can a screw presenter only handle one size screw at a time, or can it hold multiple size screws?
Yeah, so it typically is only handling one size of fastener for one particular screw. If there are multiple screws, then you could simply use different screw presenters next to each other for that type of application.
All right. Next question, Dave, is on the screw presenter, how's the rotary wheel versus the other, V-shape? What's the advantage of one versus the other?
So the advantage of using the automation style that has more of a turntable is so it allows for the vacuum pickup to easily grab that fastener, and then the standard presenter with the bit guide allows you to be able to take the tool with the bit and then write down the channel onto the fastener. So if we were trying to use a vacuum pickup with the standard one, it could be done, but it would not be there wouldn't be any advantage to doing that. But there would be an advantage to using the automation presenter.
All right, Dave. Next question is what are the typical failure modes to watch out for when using a screw presenter?
So typically, if there are adjustments that are made to either maybe the bit guide height or to some of the other adjustments, if those fasteners aren't tightened correctly, do come loose, they can change some of the way that the presenter itself is pulling it. So if, for example, if the bit guide height is not completely secure and because of the vibration of the unit, it drops down, it may prevent fasteners from sliding down the rail. Or if you have a number of different other adjustment areas that aren't completely secure, that could affect the output of that. So that's typically what you may see, but we do have those adjustment areas again to be sure that either the speed or the amount of vibration that's happening, all of those things can be fine-tuned to make sure that everything is working correctly.
All right, Dave. I think that answers all the questions we have for right now.
All right. I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you found the information useful. And again, if you are looking at or want to pursue the possibility of using a screw presenter, feel free to take a look at the screw presenter section of our website. And if you would like more information on that, you can reach out to us and we will certainly provide all the information that you would need on that for our screw presenters. With that, again, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.